What's happening, bonsai friends? In the previous video I made a start styling this nursery stock hornbeam pre-bonsai material. Today I'm going to take your feedback, put some of that into action, and we'll finish off the initial styling of this material. As always, I read all of the comments that you write to me, and I'd like to say thank you for your continued support on my channel. It's hugely appreciated. So over here we've got a couple of comments that I found particularly useful, so thanks so much for those comments. Keep them coming in, highly appreciated. This was the planting angle and preferred front that I selected in the previous video. So in this configuration, the initial section of trunk is very vertical and it does have some movement, but you really have to work hard to see the movement. Once we get past this vertical, almost straight section of trunk, the tree is kind of leaning over, and you know, if this was a person, you'd look at it and think, oh, you know, they've had a tough life. It doesn't look very comfortable. Looks like, you know, maybe the tree's got a bad back. Oh, my back. Oh. And that doesn't really, for me, that doesn't really tie in with the whole story that we were looking to tell of an elegant, graceful tree, perhaps youthful, flowing. It just kind of looks like it's had a tough life. So for me, there's a bit of a contradiction in the story that we're telling in this position. Here's the alternative angle that we looked at. Generally, it looks more comfortable, if you like. It flows, and it's also quite balanced, which ties in nicely with the elegant story we were seeking to tell with this tree. So I do think that this is the better planting angle for this tree, but having established that this is the better angle for this tree, I think it might be worth just having another look and another little play around just to see if we can't enhance it further. This lower section of trunk is quite perpendicular to the viewer, but looking at it in the flesh from a different angle, we can see that there is some nice movement in that base. So let's just have a play around and see if we can't tweak it a little bit and get even more value out of the movement in this trunk. I found it. I've made a decision. Let's have a look. This is the angle that I'm going to go for. It's the front, or the preferred front, that I'm going to choose. So the reason is we don't have any vertical lines anymore through the trunk. We've enhanced the movement in the lower section. We've still got background to foreground movement to give it depth. And the tree now appears to be flowing, or you could even say maybe even dancing, instead of being, oh, you know, I've got a bad back. This is what I'm going to go with then. So let's just rearrange some of these branches, make some choices in that area, and I think we'll be good to go. I want to talk about the option of going for a windswept design, or whether to create a more balanced tree. To consider a windswept design for this tree, we've got quite a lot of branches in positions that would lend themselves quite nicely to that sort of prevailing flow, or the prevailing direction insinuated by the wind. But wind is also a discussion of environment, and if we've got a windy environment and we just don't have the features of a struggling tree anywhere else except the position of the branches in this particular one, we don't have like gnarly taper, we don't have contorted shapes, we've got flowing, graceful lines that speak more of youth than struggle. So with that in mind, I'm going to move forward, creating an elegant, youthful image rather than a windy, struggling image with this particular tree. We've got quite a lot of branches in this area here, so let's come in close and have a look, see if there aren't some decisions that we can make. I think this one could be quite versatile because we can quite easily bring it into this space here, or we can have it on this side. This branch here is in quite a nice location. It would be quite nice as a back branch. It can fill in some of this negative space. It's quite useful also being on the outside of this elbow. This branch here, it's As it is, it's a bit awkward, but I think it will fill in some of this negative space quite nicely in this region. This one, however, I think is primed to be removed. It would look too awkward bringing it around here, but it's jostling for position among these other branches. I just think it's going to make the design look more cluttered, so I think we'll start by getting rid of this one. Take that wire out of the picture so we can Alright, the next thing that's on my mind is the negative space that we've got here, and I think the first move that I'll make is to bring this branch around here. And then this piece, which may not be kept long term, we will so we'll bring this branch into this space. This little one's peeping around here, which we'll train like so. So let's start looking at some of these branches then. Let's come up a bit more, down here. That piece can start to occupy this area. This branch comes into play up here. Okay, so I think this piece can now come up a bit more, like that. In the upper region, I don't like the way that this piece is completely vertical now. I like the angle that we've got coming away here, but this one's dead straight. I'm not massively keen on this line at the moment, but let's deal with this piece first, see if we can't do something a bit better. Okay, I think that's looking a bit better. Okay, so now we look at this piece. I like the fact that it's not vertical, but the movement isn't really doing it for me at the moment. So, okay, let's come down just a touch. Back up here. And then back down this way. Yeah, that's much better. So this piece out towards the back of the apex, we can just tweak it like that a little bit, and then it's a bit too tall, so we'll cut it back to there. So that just leaves this branch that looks a little unnatural, so I think we'll try and let's come out just a little more for the first move, and then after eyeing it up, I think what we'll do is let's cut the wire, and then we can take this piece out, come nicely in here and prune that one off there. We'll continue the branch from that piece. So now I'm going to let this one start growing in the spring, and we'll see about doing a ground layer to bring the base, or the nabari, to where we want it and implement this angle. Once again, I hugely appreciate every single comment that you write for me. I'm super dead chuffed with the way this tree's come out, and it's because of your help that we've got there. So thank you so much and keep up the good work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.